Welcome. I am Yellowtail from Yellowtail Gaming, better known as Yellowtail Yount, Xbox, PlayStation, wherever you might find me, Twitch. And this is about the Division. Namely, should you get the Division? Is it worth it? First, let's go into a little bit of story. The story behind the Division is on Black Friday, for non-Americans, people that don't know what Black Friday is, that's the third Friday in November. It's the largest shopping day of the year for America. And it's really sickening to see what kind of behavior people go through just to get a couple $100 off a TV. But on this day of grotesque shopping, one man has contaminated a bunch of $20 bills, which is the most commonly used funds in America, with a modified strain of smallpox, which is already the most deadly disease in human history, and he has made it even more deadly, and he has released that onto New York, and you are part of the Division, and you are sent in to clean up. Gameplay. What's the gameplay like? Well, it's like any other Tom Clancy game. Kind of realistic, also not really realistic. Third-person, cover-based. It's pretty good. If you played Metal Gear, if you played Gears, any other Tom Clancy game, you got a pretty good feeling for what the gameplay is going to be. Because it's almost the exact same. It handles fairly well. There's nothing really glaring about it. My biggest issue is that you can dodge roll, but the dodge roll is the same button as the enter-exit cover button, which means that you will sometimes roll into cover you don't mean to get into, and then you have to wait a second to get back out of the cover, even if you're under heavy fire and you're not where you want to be. Otherwise, it handles pretty well. There's 6 different classes of guns, and each gun has a very different feel to it, which is nice. It's a pretty solid gameplay. How much time can you sink into this game before you reach the end of it, before you can get bored? Until you hit level 30, I'd say there's a solid 24 hours into the game before you get to that point. There's probably another 20 to 25 hours worth of collectibles and side missions to do. You have your collectibles, because Ubisoft is really good at loading up on collectibles. Side missions, which are, 3 or 4 step. Go here, clear this out. Wait for a little bit, go here, clear this out. But those are one-time deals, and then that's done, and you never get to play it again. And then you have encounters. Encounters are even smaller. Show up, protect this place for 2 minutes. Alright, you're done. Those are also one-time deals, and you probably collecting all that stuff, side missions, collectibles, and encounters, 20 hours, 25 hours. So all told, to finish the single-player portion of the game, you're probably at about 50 hours of gameplay, which is not a bad deal. It's pretty solid in terms of value if you're okay with repetition, because there's a lot of repetition. The biggest problem with this game is currently its endgame, as in there is not an endgame at the current time. A lot of people are familiar with Destiny, as they should be, because it's a very popular game. When you hit the endgame of Destiny, you unlock the raids, you unlock the Nightfall, you unlock all that kind of stuff. Iron Banner. And in doing so, you then unlock another section of the game that was not previously there. Not so in the Division. Once you hit level 30 and you clear out the storyline, there's nothing left except for the Dark Zone. And the Dark Zone is fun, but it's not something you can build a game upon. You hit level 30, and now you're here to grind the Dark Zone, to get the better loot, and do all that stuff. But without a really solid PvP aspect, and not a really solid high level gameplay mechanics. You can go in to do the challenging modes. The challenging mode is a daily mission at level 32 on one of the story missions, and it's hard as hell. It can take you a couple hours to complete if you're on one of the harder missions. But for the most part, it's just annoying. You can go in the dark zone, wander around, try to grind out enemies to get better gear. But that itself is also pretty goddamn annoying, because I'm level 28 in the Dark Zone, I think, somewhere around there. I've been grinding out a lot of Dark Zone. You have to hit rank 30 in the Dark Zone to even be able to buy the Dark Zone gear through special vendors. And that's not even the good gear. That's superior quality, which is one step below high end, which is the exotic quality. The Dark Zone is... if you're alone, the Dark Zone really isn't that much fun. If you got a group of 3 or 4 people, you can go into the high level areas and really get to doing the more fun stuff. But playing it alone really is just balls. You have to be afraid of everything. You got more than 3 enemies, 3 AI, they're probably going to kill you. Another player walks up, and another player follows him up. Well, that 2-man group is going to rip your asshole apart. There's nothing you can do about it. It's really, even more so than Destiny, it caters towards the people that have a group of friends to play with. And if you're a loner, like I am, you really feel the hurt while you're playing in the Dark Zone. There is a good matchmaking system in the game, but that really depends on how much you want to matchmake to people. They have promised monthly content drops, so once a month they said they're going to have more content drop into the game. I think the first one is in April, and that's going to be a new game mode, a couple new missions, and a bunch of new gear and items. So that's cool. If they can keep that up and give us the monthly stuff, I could see this game growing pretty quickly and being a lot of fun. But at the current time, there isn't much to it. If you had an issue with Destiny not having enough stuff to do when you beat the game, you're really going to have a problem with the Division not having enough stuff when you beat the game. It does have the lore in the game, though. You can open up a panel and you actually get all of the little collectible lore bits that you find, which Bungie still hasn't done that. And so the final big question, should you buy the Division? That's the big question. That's why you're here. And of course, the answer is, let's go generic. Everybody gives this answer. It depends. If you're happy with grinding out, if you're happy with dropping $60 for a solid 30 hours of gameplay and then an annoying another 20 hours of gameplay to beat the game, yeah, buy the game. If you are thinking about buying the game, but you're not really sure, I'd wait a little bit at the current time. Wait until the middle of April. Wait until the beginning of May. You can get the bigger content drops to expand the game, and the price point for the game might, drop $5-10 or something like that, which would be a fairly good value. Even without the content drops, a $50 game for 50 hours-ish of gameplay is a pretty good deal, in my opinion at least. So I'd recommend waiting at the current time. If you're thinking about getting the game but you're not really sure, I would recommend waiting. Well, that just about does it for me and this video on the Division. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if there's any questions you wanted to ask. A friend of mine asked me what is the best play style for the Division, so I'll be having a video about playstyle is coming out here soon, hopefully within the week or so. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you and goodbye.